Around the World in 80 Days, Part 4. She swirled around and struck with grace. She truly was one of a kind, and she was about to change the future of this journey. And the future of Phileas Fogg. Phileas Fogg, the man who desired to travel the world in 80 days, and who had betted his wealth and all his career on this one endeavor. But before reaching his true destination, there were a lot of obstacles that had to be crossed. So many obstacles! Oh, but not for Mr. Fogg. For someone who wanted to disrupt the journey badly.
You are done now, Phileas.
Inspector Fix knew that now nothing can stop him from arresting Mr. Fogg. He walked with purpose and determination. Oh, how wonderfully Fix dreamt of arresting Mr. Fogg, and Mr. Fogg and Passepartout begging to let go of them.
Oh, it's due.
All it took to shatter the dream was one misstep.
Wow!
Fix's disguise had come off. The crowd gathered around to see a man draped in a sari.
Look, here's a man. Why is he dressed like that?
It must be to fool women and to make us talk to him. Oh! What a wretched man!
No, let me explain.
The anger and fear had gripped the crowd.
Our time at Bombay was rather uneventful, Passepartout. Isn't that right?
Oui, monsieur. Hopefully, the rest of our journey is the same and you're able to finish your wager.
Mr. Fogg agreed as he left his cabin to go stretch his legs. But that was not agreeable to fate.
What happened to the train, conductor? Why did it stop midway?
Midway. Hamlet of Colby is the last station.
Preposterous! It cannot be! The train is till Allahabad.
This was Sir Francis Cromarty.
Well, all the passengers already know this. The tracks are not finished yet. From here on, you will find your own way to Allahabad.
Now that is unfair, monsieur. What do we do now?
Sir Francis and Passepartout panicked. But Mr. Fogg wasn't in the least unnerved.
Monsieur, how are you so calm?
Well, I am nothing if not prepared. I have 2 extra days at my disposal, Passepartout. Let's now go and find an alternate route.
You seem extremely sure. May I have the honor to join you?
Mr. Fogg graciously agreed, and they were off to look for a mode of transport.
Ha! You say as if you know this country better than us. The only alternative transport are your 2 legs. Or perhaps an elephant.
That is not a nice tone to hold, mister.
Wait a minute. Did you say an elephant? Is that possible?
It certainly was. The rider's name was Yazdan. He was a young man, known for his understanding of the animals. Mr. Fogg knew he had come to the right person. Yazdan had the best name in mind for their ride.
Ooh, Kioni, my dear, majestic creature. But her master is a crude man. He will charge you a fortune per day to rent her, and he shall accompany you. Such a wretched man, he. He will make her work more, just so that he can make you reach faster and earn more money.
Perfect. Then I shall not rent Kioni, the elephant. I shall purchase. You know how to ride an elephant, don't you?
And to the delight of Yazdan, Kioni was purchased at a hefty price of £2,000. Sir Francis, Passepartout, and our very own Mr. Fogg sat on the howdah that was raised on the back of Kioni. Yazdan placed himself on her neck, and they were all set to go. As Mr. Fogg and Sir Francis sat beside each other, they began to talk, and Mr. Fogg was astounded at the journey of Sir Francis.
I have lived in India for most of my life, and have honestly grown fond of this place now.
Mr. Fogg was intrigued to know that Sir Francis was involved in the last sepoy rebel in India.
I would not bore with the details.
Please, it's my pleasure.
Being transported by Keone was easier said than done. Mr. Fogg, in his usual sophisticated gait, managed to make himself comfortable. But as for Mr. Francis and Passepartout,
Whoa! 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 Oh, you beast! I'm going to be sick.
Don't you worry, Sergi.
My sweet Keone mostly never trips you. Mostly?
Yazdan was so fond of this animal, and Keone seemed happy to have been released from the clutches from her wretched master and into the hands of this loving rider. Mr. Fogg was astonished to witness this bond between a human and an animal.
Perhaps love does have a separate language.
Deviating from the Vindhya Mountains to take the shortest cut to Allahabad, Yazdan decided to cut through the dense forest and save time. It was rather amusing to hear Sir Francis and Mr. Fogg talk about their lives so as to distract themselves from the discomfort of their travel.
Around the world in 80 days, you say? That is quite a wager, Mr. Fogg.
It is. And to tell you the truth, Sir Francis, a lot is riding on it. I haven't shared this with anyone but the Reform Club, and my inventions are all I have.
Mr. Fogg was opening up to new adventures. Passepartout, Sir Francis, Yazdan, Keone, all from different backgrounds and stories, were making the stone-hearted Mr. Fogg face very strange emotions of camaraderies, partnership, and friendship. But soon, Mr. Fogg's world was going to turn upside down.
What happened, Yazdan?
I hear some movement in the forest, Sergi.
Maybe there are people just like us.
No, not in this country. People would not venture out in a dense forest. This is either a wild animal or bandits. Bandits? Don't resist. Come with us now. What is happening? Oh, that's Princess Meera of the Powell village. She is a warrior princess. She's rebelled in the most difficult situations. A princess is supposed to follow rules, but she never does. They are probably the soldiers of her own village.
Everybody was watching the young princess fight the battles ferociously. But nobody was watching Princess Meera as intently as Mr. Fogg.
We are sorry, Princess. We have orders.
No!
No. Shh. Where are they taking her?
Back to her dungeon, where she's kept away from all humans.
The soldiers placed the unconscious princess in the carriage and quietly vanished into the dense forest.
His is a sad story, Mr. Fogg. Princess Meera was married to one Raja of a famous town. She was happy with her marriage, but one sad day the Raja left for a battle and never returned.
You see, in those days, it was not common for people to want to study. It was the rule of that time that the princess had to behave a certain way. But Princess Meera was no ordinary princess. After several attempts to defeat her morale, and in the face of the angry people of the village, the king finally had to put his own daughter in the dungeon.
Oh, poor Lithin. Let's continue our journey, Yazdan. We cannot save everybody.
Wait. We need to save her.
My friend, you have your fortune and your presidency on the line. This could take a lot of time. I agree with Sir Francis, Sergi. This could throw us off track. Powell village is far from here. We will lose the time that we have gained by taking the shortcut through the forest.
Monsieur, our train from Allahabad to Calcutta leaves tomorrow afternoon. If we are caught in some Indian scandal, we might miss it for real and be behind in our journey.
Mr. Fogg was listening to all, but was thinking of only one thing.
She will be taken back to her dungeon, away from all humans. Meera.
Mr. Fogg repeated the name as if it belonged to him, and the decision was made.
We will save her at all costs.